Marvel's Avengers, an ambitious game which launched with poor reception and many flaws. The game disappointed many. I am not one of them. And I for one believe that this game can get better, can redeem itself. I believe that it is on a road to redemption, and I thought it would be nice to go over everything we know so far, because I want to make you at least understand what I mean by a chance at redemption. Using the recently announced official roadmap to leaks and data mines, I want to prove that this game will be saved. New heroes, new villains, new regions, new game modes, new enemy factions, new endgame content, new everything. This is Marvel's Avengers: Road to Redemption. So, you finished Future Imperfect. Or you didn't, I don't know, it's up to you. And you wonder, what is next for the game? And here I present to you the roadmap. This has been picked to death, but not the tank style, so I'm going to talk a lot about everything here, because since then, we've gotten some more info on everything on it, and I have some speculated release stuff and all that too. Plus, this is just an amazing example on the content that is to come, and what makes me believe that this game will come to redeem itself. Plus, I want to examine it a bit more to show what I mean by the importance of this. Each update listed here adds something new to the game which was criticized, adding onto each bit of it. By the time all of these release, this game will be revamped by a whole lot. Anyways, to start it off, here's the stuff they don't know have a set release for. Addresses one of the biggest criticisms of the game: Omega level threats. When the game launched, it had no endgame content. Once you got to level 150, you had nothing to do with these heroes after that. In late September, they added Mega Hives, which were normal hives but for high-end players, and those got you exotic gear. But it wasn't much, but it wasn't that interesting. Or new. And they were planning on having proper endgame content out by now, but bugs have been an issue for this game since long before release. They were first delayed by developers Crystal Dynamics, so they could have more time to do bug testing and, fix the bugs before release, which was a major problem with the game at launch. But after that, server issues became yet another problem. If you've played the online servers at all, you'd know how they're the definition of whack. They constantly crash and players disconnect on the regular. Before they introduce these hour-long missions, they want to make sure that the game's servers can actually get through them, and recently they've been doing more server fixes, so hopefully this means that they're working on those issues. And when those issues are completed, we can expect to see them finally release these Omega level threats. Two types of Omega level threats are currently known to be releasing soon: the Super Adaptoid and the AIM cloning labs. The Super Adaptoids can already be played in the Taking Aim final mission, but their multiplayer version was delayed for more bug testing and to fix the server issues. Out of what we know, these missions might include multiple Super Adaptoids at once, whose stats are dependent on how the players perform throughout the mission. This isn't confirmed, but I noticed when replaying its boss battle, it had different abilities than when I first fought it. So maybe the abilities and attacks it uses change every time, which will make each of the bosses fight differently, making them more interesting. And as a reward for finishing the raid, you get glowing green gear for your heroes. And then we have the cloning labs, pretty self-explanatory. At the end of the mission, you fight multiple clones at the same time. All of their stats are decided by how well you perform throughout the mission, like with the Super Adaptoids one. The footage we've seen of these missions show them in various locations, from under the water to the desolate Badlands. Out of what I could find, I couldn't find any info on the rewards players will get for completing them, but we can expect they're going to be major artifacts or nameplates, skins, or whatever. And back in September, the cloning labs accidentally went live for a quick second, so some people managed to play it, and we managed to see the newer puzzles, which do look interesting. These new puzzles are new challenges for what players to get through the level, so that means these missions will be less repetitive than normal ones. The Mega level threats were originally planned to be weekend-only missions, but recent news has stated that they will now switch out weekly, and you can do them multiple times. These missions will require a fully maxed out hero, at power level 150. And I recommend getting a team of friends together to play these once they come out, because you need people to play with in order to do these missions. But if you can't find any friends, because you're lonely like me, to play with, then you can try to do matchmaking, because that will be an option. But you'll probably sit in a matchmaking lobby for ages. Yeah, this is gonna take a while. So yeah, expect the cloning labs to release these next few months, hopefully soon, as not much is standing in their way of releasing. Speaking of endgame content, they plan on finally making the Mega Hives multiplayer. Playing those missions are really boring when I'm doing it alone. Can't wait to finally grind for exotic gear with my buddies who don't exist. Crystal Dynamics is also working on post-level 50 progression for heroes, which means they're also adding on to every hero. They'll be doing this in phases, just adding little bits to every character, and this allows them to add on to the existing cast due to fan demand. And you already know of some of these heroes they've been reworking in ways. Both Hulk and Captain America are having traversal reworks. If you played Hulk, you'd know that his jumping is very whack. And I don't exactly get why they're changing Cap's traversal, because I think it's well done, but we will see what they do. It is most likely because Cap's traversal is very similar to Hawkeye's, so they're probably giving him something different. But where this post-level 50 thing might actually come in is with Iron Man, who seems to be getting a new drone ability which will replace the deployable shield. Just an FYI, a lot of this stuff has been confirmed via developer live streams. I'd recommend dropping in and watching some of Crystal Dynamics' Twitch streams for when you're bored. I do sometimes, and this is where a lot of this info does come from. Speaking of reworks, the Gear Overhaul. There's hardly anything on it, but they are for sure improving the gear system, which was yet another major flaw in the game. They've hardly said anything, but they have shown like 2 seconds of it, but hey, I am excited for it, as they said they've taken a lot of notes from the fans, and hopefully it will be a massive improvement. What I really expect to see is just each level of gear to be more powerful. The changes that the gear make are more noticeable, and something I hope they do is give more visual effects to the attacks. Something I noticed with the fire gear is that it just makes your hands fiery, when I think it would be cool for, say, Iron Man's, it would make his repulsors more fiery, and maybe make his repulsors more red. And hopefully it'd also allow for some more customization by having this gear affect certain looks of the characters. Not like physical looks, but like how the attacks look. And the final improvement they want to do over the course of these various updates is the addition of Marvel Cinematic Universe inspired suits. This is an amazing announcement, because that finally means we can now have highly requested skins. MCU suits are the key for them to properly monetize the game, and I'm happy that they're finally doing them. Over time, we can expect to see a lot of these skins to be added in phases. I'd expect most to be exclusive to the marketplace, but with the arrival of in-game events, I'd expect them to allow some of these to be earned through playing the game. And I've seen some worry from fans about them saying inspired for the skins, but they've said not to worry about that. And I'd just like to point out that you can say how the Superior Iron Man skin they released was also inspired, but that heavily reused assets. What I'm going to say about that is that the Superior Iron Man skin they released was designed to be made in the marketplace for the weekly rotation. I won't be surprised if they rush that one out for the purpose of having a great new skin in the marketplace. That's sort of a big problem with why they've had recolors in the first place, so they can actually have skins in the marketplace. And I won't be surprised if they just rush the Superior Iron Man skin out for that reason. But looking at the MCU suits and how they are only doing phases and how they don't have set release dates for them, they're hopefully taking the time needed to make them as best as they can be. That's just my word. I believe the MCU suits will be good, but we'll just see how they go. I do expect them to reuse some assets, but for example, the Iron Will skin's helmet is a lot like the Mark 1 suit. If they were to add it as a skin, they could reuse that Iron Man helmet and make an entirely new asset for everything else. That's what I'd expect, and that's what I hope they do, but we'll just see how it goes. Just for skins that are almost one-for-one replicas. Let's move on to the proper roadmap. The first update is Spring 2021, following Future Imperfect, is the Tachyon Anomaly. Tachyon Anomalies is a limited time event which, by the time this video goes up, should already be in play. Running from April 22nd to May 3rd, players will be able to play as any hero they want to, even if that hero is already in play. Same hero teams. The idea is that AIM's Tachyon rifts have caused so much damage to the space-time continuum that timelines intersect, allowing the same hero team thing to happen. We don't know if this event will be reoccurring, but I assume it will if it does well. Allowing same hero teams to be a 2-week event is a pretty neat idea. During this event, more Tachyon Rift missions will open up at the same time on the war table, while their power cap will be decreased, so if you have a lower level hero, like my Hawkeye is currently at level 70, I could finally play him in a Tachyon Rift during this event. Rewards you can earn from this event is animated nameplates and better gear. For each week of the event, there will be challenges to earn these animated nameplates for each of these heroes. This update is small but a neat one, and maybe we can see this anomaly of an event to return, as I think it's a pretty neat idea. Maybe after its first debut, they could have it be for a week per month. The final one for spring is the Red Room Takeover. This update is a tie-in update to release with the upcoming Black Widow movie, which is delayed to July. But out of what it looks like, this update will still be May. This update will include an event known as a Red Room Takeover, which is described to be an escape gauntlet. I'm speculating here, but this could be a limited time event which will never repeat, which goes on for 2 or so weeks like the Tachyon Anomaly. Involving a chain of missions similar to the Heroic Gauntlet where players go through hijacked red harm rooms to get a skin would be cool. Speaking of skins, this update will introduce new hero skins, which recently has been confirmed to be when we will get our first phase of Marvel Cinematic Universe suits. And since this update is a tie-in with the Black Widow movie, I assume that we will get skins for Black Widow based on her suits in the movie. Notably her white suit and the one we've seen in the posters. If this event is 2 weeks long, 2 gauntlets switch out after a week, maybe at least one of these could be a Black Widow skin that we could earn through the gauntlet, and maybe another one's an animated nameplate emote or whatever. And maybe as an alternative, you can just buy the skin in the marketplace because they need to monetize this game. But hey, we're getting our first phase of MCU suits, so yeah, that's awesome. And I have some speculation on some other suits we could see. Other than that, a skin I think we could see that fits in with the time period is Captain America. A Captain America skin based on the US Agent costume in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. The show would have been finished by then, but maybe the hype from it may still be going on after that, so it's sort of carrying on to the rest of the hype that still exists. Then that's really it for the update. We will see what skins they introduced. I'm excited for what they'll make and what the first phase will be. And to start the Summer and Beyond section, we have the Cosmic Cube. Continuing the storyline we saw in Future Imperfect, we finally get to see Project Omega be brought into the full picture in a new villain sector. The new villain sector, no, not Omega level threat, which means it likely will join the faction assignments rotation. In a small clip we got at the Square Enix event in March, Monica will be using the Cosmic Cube against us in a new arena map. Looks like she won't be using an EXO either. It's her and the Cosmic Cube against us. And since this villain sector will be more story-focused, this could mean something, but I doubt it. Present-day AIM is making the Cosmic Cube when future AIM's Cosmic Cube froze time in a big bubble thingy. So this means that this is pushing the present-day narrative, which is nice. And that arena we battle Monica in looks like that one we saw in the Kate Bishop deep dive back in November, which still hasn't released yet. They both look really similar, so it is very possible. And notice how this one is more vertical instead of the usual flat one-floor arena we usually fight bosses in. So this means that this Cosmic Cube villain sector will be different, more unique. I am looking forward to it a lot. Hopefully it'll be unique and very fun to play. There's just a lot of potential. Then the next update is Wasteland Patrol, an update which adds on to the Wasteland region with new missions, assignments, and more. I really like this idea. Other than villain sectors, the Wasteland region only has one multiplayer mission. Plus this region is the most unique, and in my opinion, it is the best of the other regions because it's just so cool. This will introduce a new game mode known as Patrol Mode. People talk about it like it's some mission type from Destiny 2, a game I haven't played. And whenever I ask people what they mean by it, they say, then play Destiny 2. Patrol mode will be a game mode exclusive to the Wasteland region for now, where players are dropped into a massive free roam area like in normal war zones. But what makes it different is that this time is that the enemies constantly respawn with bosses scattered throughout the map as players accept certain missions to complete. It has been said that the war zones in patrol mode will be the largest ever. And I have a separate video in the works on stuff I'd like to see in this patrol mode, but out of what it sounds like, fans are really happy for this. Problem is, I think that's a bit similar to how normal war zones are, but, because I don't fully understand what patrol mode is, we'll just see how it goes. But either way, this mode sounds fun. Like it'll be a mode meant for players to grind on. This fits the Wasteland region too. No order, an apocalypse, a new game mode where you literally just grind. Fun. New assignments interest me too. Faction assignment missions only are villain sectors, which means another boss, and we already fight Maestro enough in it. But I wouldn't get my hopes up for it. They probably mean new faction missions there. Maybe we can accept faction assignments in the patrol mode. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Some may think that the Cosmic Cube villain sector could be this new boss, but that's kind of a bad idea. Because they're two separate updates, and they seem to involve present-day aim because, they all aren't frozen. Only time will tell. I doubt this means another new boss, but we will see. And I don't know if this patrol mode will come to other regions, but they've said if it's successful, they will introduce it in other regions, and I think it was a cool idea to first introduce it in the Wastelands because the Wastelands are just the best. But afterwards, I hope we get to see it in regions like the Eastern Seaboard. Imagine a patrol mode where you're just thrown into the island of Manhattan, and in the center of it, there's the massive AIM tower. You can go underground in the sewers for faster transportation. You can maybe go find some inhuman resistance people walking around and accept missions from them. But then there's the final update, War for Wakanda, the Black Panther expansion. Black Panther will finally join the roster of new heroes in Marvel's Avengers. New villains, yes plural, one of which is Claw, a new enemy faction led by Claw, a new story expansion, a new ally outpost, and a new region, Wakanda. Notice how they said villains, plural. That means we could see multiple villains be introduced. We already know of Claw, and I am excited to see what other bosses they introduce, but if it isn't anything major like Killmonger or M'Baku, the man-ape. It might be a massive robot like the Warbot or warship used to dig up vibranium in Wakanda, and going by what the trailer stated, this'll be a true war, a massive event. We're not just going to Wakanda, we're fighting for it. Full-scale invasion, as Claw put it. And I am diving into leaks and data mines here for a second. Feel free to skip ahead if you don't want to get spoiled, but Miller, the good old Avengers leaker, has said that Black Panther will come with vibranium mine raids. Like a true raid event, where we ended off fighting Claw. And he also claims that Black Panther will introduce entirely new objectives to make the missions more unique. And we might have already seen these a fair bit in the trailer. In a clip we see a spire in the jungles, a pillar, and I think this could be one of these new puzzles they introduce in the Wakanda update. I am just excited to see what they do with Wakanda, and notice how they refer to it as an expansion instead of the usual operation. They probably mean this because this is more than a story add-on. It's a big expansion adding tons to the game, more than just new story content. Oh, plus we're getting more suits in this, so yeah, probably the second or third phase of MCU suits will come with this. I am glad that they're taking the time needed to make it. Oh yeah, the time. Black Panther likely won't come out until August at the earliest. Yay! Considering how they want the Red Room Takeover to release with Black Widow, which comes out in late May, haha, script is outdated already. This roadmap could fit a monthly release schedule, which it already has been confirmed that Tachyon Anomaly is from late April to early May. Red Room Takeover could be from late May to early June. Which that could mean the Cosmic Cube event could be late June. I more so think that the Cosmic Cube event could be in late June, with the Wasteland Patrol update come out in late July or early August, and then have War for Wakanda release in early September. Why? To celebrate the year anniversary of the game, to be the true turning point for the game. By then, almost every part of the game would have been expanded. MCU suits, new heroes, new villains, new gear system, endgame content, new regions, new mission types. The whole thing, almost everything in the game, should be improved by the release of War for Wakanda. Black Panther is a massive character. He means a lot to many people. He's one of Marvel's most famous, iconic, and beloved heroes. Having him released not only done right, but also when the game is better and more enjoyable, is the right thing to do. Instead of jumping in and having to fight Abomination Taskmaster clones repeatedly, you could now go to the jungles of Wakanda and into the Vibranium mines to battle Claw, or go deep into the AIM research facilities to discover the secrets on a new superweapon known as the Cosmic Cube. Instead of walking around boring old biomes like desert or snow, you could walk around the dystopian future littered with Kree sentries and the remnants of human civilization. Or you could go on a mission to Brooklyn and protect Lucky the dog from the hands of AIM. Instead of screwing around with AI companions all dressed in lazy skin colors, you and your buddies can band together as Black Panther, Hawkeye, Thor, and Black Widow, all dressed in suits from the Marvel Cinematic Universe as you take down an AIM cloning lab. And from there, it can only get better. By the year anniversary of this game, everything would have been improved. I don't know if it will be enough for a full redemption, but I think it'll be enough to show that this game isn't done, that it will improve a whole lot more. That it will live up to fans as the true Avengers experience that was promised years ago, and that can be expanded for the years to come. And look at the possibilities the leaked list has shown us. Captain Marvel is looking to have an expansion similar to the size of War for Wakanda. It could be when all plot threads go to end Season 1 of DLC. We could head to the Kree homeworld and fight down armies and hordes of Kree enemies like the Invisible Dudes, who turn invisible and are going to be a nightmare to fight. The whole battle could lead to a one-on-one battle with the Supreme Intelligence. Or maybe the Winter Soldier could introduce Hydra as a new enemy faction. We first fight him as a villain, and later on he becomes one of the heroes as we play him through a redemption story where he looks to get revenge on Red Skull or Hydra for taking control of him. Heck, Ultron has been teased a lot in Future Imperfect, and he just could be amazing. He could expand every bit of the game, new enemy factions, new enemy types. He could be a villain sector and an Omega level threat. He could also bring Ant-Man, Scarlet Witch, and the Vision to the game too. Are you starting to see what I mean by the huge potential this game has? How it will redeem itself? That is why I made this overly long video to prove that. If you didn't enjoy the game at launch, I'd recommend dropping back in when Black Panther releases. The game will be a whole lot different by then. Bugs are extremely rare for me nowadays compared to at launch. Performance issues have been decreasing, and new content is coming. I hope you see that Marvel's Avengers is on a road to redemption. That it has the potential to be the ultimate Marvel experience for everyone.